What's up, guys? Back at it again. Today's episode of J Frosty. Back at it again.
Took the 620 to lower it on the lawn where multiple things happened. The oil filter fell off. It unthreaded and about 2 quarts of oil fell out. And then the alternator also had problems. It was like at an angle and I'm getting the charge light on. It was only held in by this front bolt, not this back one. The slave cylinder was leaking. So anytime I would park it, it would have a bunch of clutch fluid underneath. So that's also getting replaced. I saw this is all cracked, so I won't be reusing that. Just super crusty. Noticed some corrosion around the master as well, so might as well do that too. So just sort of one thing at a time, moving on it, and just kind of generally address the things that have been neglected on it. So that's what I'm trying to get into. Knock all that stuff out. Dumped out the oil, taking the old stuff out, and I'm going to use 10W30, at least get that started. And I did a pull through first and second, and then third, and got in trouble for showing off. The oil filter was loose and it dumped about 2 quarts. I had the low oil pressure light come on, cut it off, coasted to a stop, opened the hood and found just oil like just everywhere. Luckily the house we pulled up at was a very nice lady who had a couple of quarts of oil that she let us have. Very kind of her, but it was 0W20, which I don't really want to run in this, but I was very appreciative. And now that it's home, I'm just gonna put what I want, which is 10W30. All right, somewhere like that. Okay. Just gonna put a little dab right in here. And the other. Tight. This is ready for the line. It comes from up there, goes down here. All right, the other thing that was coming off. Might be able to get a socket on that one. How about these crow's feet? That might do it. Well, that's ridiculous, but it works. All right, there's one. It is turning. How about that? Then inside. Sure. There's a pin. A cotter pin looks like it's on the other side, which makes sense because it would be easier if it was over here. There it is. Okay, pin should push through. It does. Very good. So this should just pull through now, right? And it's just stuck because it's been gluing my paint for the past 50 years. Yep, that's crusty. Damn. Yeah, I guess it's time to replace this stuff. Yuck. What do I do about that? I'm just gonna use Speed Shine, drench the area, blot it dry, and some of the paint is just gonna come off, I think, is unfortunately the situation. So that's a bummer. Yeah, that paint's gone. Damn, that sucks. Brake cleaner. Ideally that should come off and then paint, but so instead of doing anything, I'll try doing nothing. Just a little bit. Okay. Done in the cab. Tight. Get this line threaded in. The line on the other side over there, I saw it's rubber, it's old, and it's cracked. So I've ordered braided steel for that side. Hopefully it's the right thing. It's for a Nissan 280Z. I'm assuming that this is the same, but I don't know that for a fact. So we'll have to wait and see when that shows up, if I failed that or not. Okay, I think that's tight. Can't put fluid in because I don't have the line over there, waiting on that to arrive. But I think that's done for now on this side. And what did I have going on over here? Alternator bracket thing. Maybe that's what to tackle next. It's down here. I assumed it had one long bolt that went all the way through, and this side is threaded. So that would make sense, but it's not. The back of this is not open, so this front bolt just threads in from the front. All it had before was one bolt going this way and then a one for belt tension. Just those two are what was holding it in place. I guess on the back, it'll have to be a bolt and a nut. Kind of weird engineering. The one bolt through here makes sense. These are what I got. Are they identical? No. Probably the one with the larger washer is for this. Okay, and because I said it out loud, that makes it so. And so this one goes in the bottom here. Just gonna clean this while I think about what's going on here with the alternator. I think what I'm gonna have to do is measure the thread pitch, measure the length to get through that back bracket and through the alternator bracket, and account for a lock washer. Doesn't look like it's doing much locking anymore. As well as a regular washer. I do have some hardware. I'm betting it's M8. I think we have a winner with that. I'm gonna try that. I don't know if this alternator's doing any good or not. It's got oil all in it. I won't know until I put it back on there if I have to get a replacement or not. I guess we'll just put it back on and see what it looks like. However, before I do that, what's up with these plugs? This one I know I kind of fucked up on the way out of there. Probably be okay like that, but it is ugly. Damn. Re-end it or don't. Feel better about it if I do. So it looks like I'm leaning towards re-ending the thing. I pulled out the soldering iron and some solder. Looks like I'm heading that way. I'm gonna have some shrink tubing, and I'm gonna want the heat gun after a while. So my soldering iron's heating up. What I'd like is to get this hot enough so that the ring is actually hot enough to melt the solder. I'm gonna try to get some solder down in there. Doing pretty good. Don't get it too hot, but I want it to be nice and attached. There we go. That's looking pretty. So we'll let that cool off. Once that cools off, I'll pull the heat shrink tubing. And I think that should be it. So done with that shit. So let's just put the alternator back on. It's the best way to get down in here. This hardware is for the front. The back one's going to use this setup. Bolt on. I'll just tighten that up as much as I can by hand. Okay. Gonna reuse this belt. I don't see any kind of issue with that. Up here. Jeez. Okay. Well, I think we can go ahead and tighten right on down for the most part. Yeah, that's good and tight. Yeah, get some pressure on here and go ahead and tighten this top one too. This one I don't think is gonna need too much help here because this thing is friggin' tight as is. And I just want it to get nice and snug like that. Okay, and let's see, put this shit back on in the back. So this cable, and this cable. I remember that black was the screw, and the screw was here. That's a ground, right? Probably. Okay, it's threading in nicely, and tighten right on down. Feels tight. Then, let's see, the one I just made goes here. And then where did this go? Looks like it goes right here. There you go. Come on, you little bastard. See? Easy. Okay, cool. So that's all together. Bolts are all tight. I'd like to start it and see what this thing says about whether or not it's charging. I'm waiting on the stainless steel braided line before I can do this. So that's a bust. I need brake fluid in there, but I can't do it because I don't have the braided steel yet. So I'll be done with it until the part arrives.
24 hours later.
So the Z car garage braided stainless steel clutch cable has shown up. This is for a 240, 260, 280 Nissan Z, and I'm hoping that it fits on the 620. So I was hoping that the threads are the same, and they certainly appear to be the same. So that's good news. I like that. And then this will go up through here. Boy, howdy, I think it's gonna friggin' work. Nice and snug. So now this 10 mil hopefully threads in. Gotta get the right angle so you don't cross thread the shit. All right, now to put some fluid in it and bleed it. Now press it to the floor. Press it to the floor. Okay, press it all the way down. Looks pretty good, honestly. Okay, I guess. The cylinder's moving correctly, so the levels are all in the right place, and I'm happy enough with it. That was nastier than I wanted it to be, but I don't have a follow-up. It just was. I did think I saw the oil was a little bit high on the dipstick, and I'm really hoping that that was just a little bit. Needs to go into the filter or something, so I'm gonna run it just briefly and then check again. It's not that high, but god damn it, just be right. Alternator's back and sorted. Belt feels right. Think I'm good to stick the positive terminal back on. It's a good connection, right? Let's see. Should fire right up, no big deal. That charge light is not de-illuminating, so I'm gonna go ahead and say the alternator's f***ed up. Running right. All right, so let's call it on that for now. So I'm gonna have to have an alternator probably. Buff up your dollar signs. It sucks. And let's see about that oil level. It went right down like I was expecting, right? I think it is actually. That's gonna work for me. I'm not gonna try to dump any out, but I will try to figure out that charge light. Why would it be doing that? I should check the voltage first. It's DC 12.51. So shouldn't want to run at all. 12.51, correct? 12.34. Run on 3 out of 4, I think. Is that 3 out of 4? That's definitely down. Not by a lot, though. And it's not really idling fast enough to be charging. What am I missing? Feels like something's wrong. I think that's 3 out of 4 cylinders. Not really sure what to make of it. Sounds like it's running on 3 out of 4 cylinders to me. I guess I could pop one off at a time and see if it kills it. It's probably wise. She ain't firing on that one. Found it right away, that first one. Right? Doesn't that mean that one's gone? That's not right. Sounds exactly the same. Cylinder number 4. Let's take a look if she's French fried in here. She's looking pretty fried. Maybe new cap and rotor. Well, don't understand the charging thing unless it was caused by the burned up cap and rotor. Let me know if you have any input on this one.
Several days later.
A couple new parts have shown up for a few different projects, notably for the 620 cap and rotor and plugs. We'll see if those make a difference. New rotor, new cap. This setup here, pretty charred up, especially the rotor. I tried to clean it a little bit with sandpaper, but I just didn't make progress. That is a different size. Wonder if this is gonna fit on there. Seems like a good thing to check before going ham. No, of course it doesn't. All right, so that's a bust. Wrong. All right, making big progress. And we can at least get these plugs swapped. Just checking to see how much nasty shit's down in there. Gross, obviously, but I don't think it'll be a problem. I'm not having an issue with these others, but I got a set of new. They might as well all be new. Bummer about the cap and rotor. I was really hoping that was going to be enough of a fix to get this thing running on all four. So I guess I'm back to the waiting game and trying to figure out why did this not work and how to return it. I think the answer is that this is a matchbox distributor or something like that. It's electronic and this would have had points, I think. But I'll have to research that a little bit. I believe that's enough of a part number to come up with what this thing is. So I'll order a cap and rotor for that.
Later.
Interestingly, just the change in plugs has this thing running on 4 cylinders again, which is pretty cool. I like that. But I do still have the charge light on. Does that mean that alternator got oil crapped in it so much that it's not working? Probably. So I guess I'll change the alternator too. I did figure out the cap and rotor business. That's pretty embarrassing. I was putting together parts for another vehicle and I had the wrong vehicle selected when I put the cap and rotor in the cart, and so cap and rotor for something else showed up. So that's this one for now.
3 days later.
So what has shown up? Hopefully the right cap and rotor for the 620. Let's take a quick look. That's what we got. And looks about the same, so just go popping these off and putting them in the right place. There's the old rotor. So 4 here, 2 here, 3 here, 1 here. Okay, hopefully that chills out the misfire issue. And then still not charging right. At least the last time I looked at it, it wasn't. So got a Rock Auto rebuilt, remanufactured alternator here. And we'll just verify that this runs on 4 cylinders again, and also that it has the charge light on. So there's 4 cylinders, which is great, but I have the charge light on, definitely illuminated. Goes out a little bit, but not really. So how about that? It went out. Well, now I'm not really sure about putting that alternator on. Sort of seems like I don't have to. I think I may have gotten lucky there. I thought for sure I was going to have to replace the alternator, but the charge light is out, so that makes me feel pretty good. Maybe I'll just return this and get some of my money back and call it a day. Maybe take a quick look to be super sure. Well, I'll be damned. Yeah, that's definitely charging. Okay, well, that'll save me a little bit of money. That's pretty good news. That's actually great news. Hell yeah, I'll add that to my returns pile. Wagon's back, 620 is back too. This is lovely. Okay, well, if you hung around and helped me work on this thing, I definitely appreciate it. Just had a couple things to sort out and it looks like they're relatively sorted. I'll not be putting that alternator on and I'll return it and get some money back, which is great. And can't wait to rip this thing. It's raining today, so today's not the day, but this thing looks like it's back in action. So it's a real we're back situation. Thanks for hanging out. See ya.